Siddharth Yadav, the point which is being made is to suggest that a caste census will provide an X-ray to society. Is the BJP, I want clear answer from you, is the BJP supportive of such a caste census? And would you, if you came to power again, be ready to bring in a caste census as you have taken credit in Bihar for? And your ally Nitish Kumar pushed it?
Rajdeep, just give me 30 seconds. Rajdeep, just give me 30 seconds because very tall claims were being made by Anshul here on the debate. I just want to ask today two questions. Who sat on the report of Mandal Commission for 15 years? Who did that? Who was the one who said, na jaat pe na paat pe mohar lagegi haath pe? Who said that? Who was the one who brought in caste census but did not release the report? I ask you today on this television, why did P. Chidambaram on the floor of the house come and say that if you release the data of caste census, we will have dangerous consequences? Why did you say that? And one last question, if Anshul can answer here on this debate today, when we brought the bill to give the constitutional right to the OBC Commission of this country, why did the Congress party oppose it? Is this for social justice? You can't even think beyond Gandhi family and you sit here and tell us about social justice. Your Dadi ji after that, Beta ji after that, Bahu ji after that, Pota ji again. Is that social justice for you? And we have made it.
Okay, let me answer your question. Siddharth, you had your 30 seconds. I gave you your 30 seconds.
NCRT, all references are to caste deference.
Yeah, go ahead, Anshul.
All references to caste in NCRT books has been removed. You've removed scholars, Dalit scholars from the course, from the Delhi University English Literature course who spoke about caste discrimination. You've had RSS leaders coming out and saying that the reservation policy should be reviewed. You've said you've scrapped scholarship for ST-SC students. You have rejected the ST-SC sub-plan which said no, allocation of resources has to be in accordance with the population. You've taken a number of steps which define.
But are you not worried, Anshul?
The whole reservation
Anshul Abjit, are you not worried what you're playing? Sir, Anshul Abjit, are you not worried you're playing with fire? No, the point, just a minute, sir.
What is your position on the caste census? The Prime Minister says, no, hang on a minute. Yeah.
No, aren't you worried you're playing with fire here? The moment you release a caste census and the numbers are made public, every community will step up and demand their share of the pie. And that could, this is the fear expressed not just by BJP or Congress, but by people who've been observing this, that it could lead, potentially lead to greater friction. Does that not worry you at all?
The problem with that question, Rajdeep, is, again, as I said, that you are looking at reservations through the filter of political instrumentalism. You think we are doing it for the sake of getting a few votes, for this kind of thing. That question would have been relevant had this been the case, had this been the end. I want to ask the BJP, my friend from the BJP, the Prime Minister says, going back to an old Marxian paradigm, there are no castes, there are only classes. You know, somebody says, you know, the Home Minister has said, no, the data is all false. You know, actually, Mr. Yogendra Yadav was right. Then they first take the claim for caste census. They're in complete chaos. They don't know how to respond to our demand of a caste census and our guarantee. Okay. It is they who should be answering. Okay. What is their position on the caste census?
Can I, Rajat Sethi, the Prime Minister, when this caste census is put, raises the question saying, I only believe in 4 castes: poor, women, youth, and farmers. Is that the Prime Minister, in a way, trying to avoid actually dealing with that critical issue of having a caste census? Is this the Prime Minister trying to, in a way, shift the goalposts away? Or do you believe it's a way of Prime Minister showing himself to be more inclusive?
Well, I think any progressive politician should be talking in these words. And, you know, for the past few minutes, it seemed like I was sitting in a Karl Marx class. My simple question is, ki karte kyun nahi ho? Karo na Karnataka mein. You know, why such lofty talks? Walk the talk, right? Why are you not doing it? You're sitting on the data for past 1 year. You should have easily released it, made it a point, and then went into the election. Do it in Karnataka. You can still do it because this is not a new scheme. You've already done the survey. The survey is complete. The report has been submitted to the Chief Minister of Karnataka. But here you will sit and make all these lofty claims as if, you know, this big mega revolution is going to happen in this country. Sir, nothing of that sort is going to happen. Be clear. The problem with Congress party is that the intent and their claims have zero matching. There is so much of mismatch that people don't even trust it. And this is the problem, is the trust deficit that Congress has, which is not working on. If you want to make these lofty claims, you have multiple state governments at a point in time. You still have Tamil Nadu, where you can also do a lot of your experimentation. Here you are in alliance with Muslim League. Why is Muslim League word so much of a negative connotation for you guys?
There I will say there is a difference between Rajat. There is a difference between
come on,
between drawing a parallel with the Muslim League of Muhammad Ali Jinnah and the Muslim League in Kerala. You see, this is my problem. You made a fine point about Karnataka. You made a fine point about Karnataka, which Yogendra Yadav should respond to. Yogendra Yadav, you see, on the ground, this is the point. You've got a state where you've got a caste census ready, but the Congress itself has realized the moment we make it public, it will only bring in more divide. Lingayats, Vokaligas, the Kurbas, all of them will suddenly see their demands will increase exponentially. That's the fear. And therefore, my so-called cynicism that all of this is being done before an election, because the truth is the BJP has a large chunk of the OBC vote in North India. And the Congress knows you can't win India unless you get that vote.
Rajdeep, first, since Karnataka is being bandied about, the fear is not that everyone would demand reservation, more reservations. The real fear is that two large communities who think that their share in population is very large actually have found out that their share is much less than what they think it is. That is the problem. Anyway, let's not get dragged into Karnataka. Let's also not be dragged into the past. The simple answer, Rajdeep, to what you were asking both the gentlemen from Congress and the BJP is that all the mainstream parties of this country are guilty of not being true to the spirit of social justice for the last 70 years. We're not examining that. All of them are guilty in different ways, some more, some less. I'll not get into that. For me, I'm looking at present and I'm looking at future. To my mind, the most progressive thing to say about discriminations based on caste or race or tribe, etc., is to acknowledge that these differences and discriminations and inequality exist. Someone who fails to acknowledge the fact of caste is not being progressive. I'm afraid they are being regressive. Incidentally, I think
you can
my friend
acknowledge
Rajat
it.
would remember.
You can acknowledge it, but are you then going to say, take the next step that based on that, if a caste census was to be made public, then reservation would be on the basis of those numbers? That's the fear that some people have. That then you have opened up a Pandora's box.
Rajdeep, allow me to say that this is fear of the privileged. Whose fear is it? Let's be honest. Is it the fear of those who are large in numbers and do not have their IAS and IPS officers? Do they fear such possibility? No, they don't. Is it the fear of those who get about the same proportion in the resources of this country as their population? No, it's not their fear. The fear, Rajdeep, let's admit it on this show. The fear comes from those who know that they have disproportionate access to opportunities, to offices, to money, to resources of this country, and who fear that a caste census would expose their privileges. It is the fear of the privileged. This has always been the fear of the privileged all over the world.
Let me give Rajat, you're making a very contentious point. You're claiming this is a fear of the privileged who feel that their privileges will be lost. Rajat Sethi, you want a final word to respond to that? That this is fear?
Well, this is the framing problem that is being elucidated by the Prime Minister. If you see from these lenses, and if you ignore the other four sort of things like the poor, the youth, the women, that what the Prime Minister talks about, you will bring in those divisions. And I can tell you, no politician will have an easy sort of a walk when it comes to giving reservations, expanding that base in states after states. Certain states which have been deserving a fair sort of a reservation, like Bihar, have gotten so. But what do you do in Madhya Pradesh? What do you do in Chhattisgarh? You have absolutely made that as an electoral issue in the previous elections just a few months back, and you got a severe beating when you make that as a sole sort of an election promise. The proof was there. Yet the Congress, took this as a principal position on its manifesto. Let the public decide.
Okay.
And, there will be both the privileged and the underprivileged in the voting class, and the voting classes will decide.
Okay.
Let's see who wins.
We'll leave it there. Is the Congress a step behind the times, or is it ahead of the times when it calls for a caste census and says jitni abadi utna hak? Or is the Prime Minister reflecting a reality when he talks of his version of what a caste system is about? And at the same time, the BJP will list out for you all the OBC ministers that they have in the cabinet. Is caste the ultimate reality of Indian politics? Is a question that I leave my guests and my viewers to really think about tonight.